My name is Shannon Gilmore, and I am a peer support mentor. I am here twice a day as we meet twice a day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock in the evening, to help you. We're here to help you understand and unpack the trauma that you're feeling, those unwanted feelings, those feelings that do not serve you, those feelings that hinder you. We're here to take a look at them. And sometimes we get brutally honest, but we're always meeting this with tender, loving care. So we're here to love you. We're here to help you. We're here to provide you hope and counsel, but always you make your own decisions, okay? Whatever message you think you receive here, whatever message that you resonate with here on this channel, I want it to be clear that you make your own decisions and nobody's going to judge you for it. So welcome. It is nice to see all of you. Hello. My back, you guys are probably seeing this backwards, but this is scripture back here. What is it? It's First John chapter 5, verse 14 through 15. So yeah, you guys might want to look that up because we actually take a look at that and we mention that scripture quite a bit lately. Hello, Resistor. How you doing? Nice to see you. Hope everybody enjoyed their evening and their day. Robert says, Daniel Kahneman wrote a bestseller called Thinking Fast and Slow. Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sorry, I just finished sneezing. Hang on a sec. Trying to blow my nose quietly. Okay, we're trying to be quiet. We're live here. We can't all make all the rude noises that humans make, right? Yeah. So, how you doing? I know, too much information, but we're all family here, so what does it matter? Anyways, how you guys all doing? I know that was so ladylike. Okay, but at least I'm polite about it, right? So, I love you too, Robert. How you doing? Okay, so we're going to talk about the 3 hidden truths about human decision making that no one dares to say out loud. I know today's live this afternoon was pretty brutal, right? Pretty raw. And, you know, I just asked God, what are we missing? Like, and then I just started thinking about what's wrong with this world. You know, this world, the closer that the timeline nears to Jesus coming back, this is causing the demons in people to go squirrely. And you know, it's good to be honest. It's good to purge if you know, we can be honest with each other. That leads us to be honest within ourselves. And honesty is the best policy. We've gaslit each other. We've gaslit in ourselves. Gaslitting. That's a new Shannonism. Gaslitting. I like that. Gaslitting. It's got a good ring to it. Gaslitting. So no matter where you are in your life, this channel does have, I do believe this channel does meet the needs wherever you are at. You just have to find the right video that will help you. We've got well over 1,000 videos here on this channel now, and we're here twice a day, every day for you. So take advantage of this channel because that's what it's here for. It's for you to grow and learn from. Ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not know. You can find me at shannongilmore@protonmail.com, or if you want professional help, I can mentor you. I will listen. And all you need to do is find the link in the description of this video or in this chat and sign up for a one-on-one consultation. And you never know, you might just find the answers that you're looking for, because two heads are better than one. But I'm not here to convince you. Pray about it. Ask God. That's the thing. I always tell people this: if ever you have a question about me, go ask God in prayer about me. And I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just that God is going to be honest with you, and he's going to reveal to you the stuff that about myself that I might be lying about myself. My ego might be gaslighting me. So, I don't claim to be perfect, but I am doing my best to help you, as this is helping me also. So hello everyone, and welcome. It is nice to see you. Welcome to the family. Hello Cynthia, nice to see you. So today we're going to reveal the 3 hidden truths about human decision making that no one dares to say out loud, because the truth about why we decide what we decide isn't found in psychology books. It's buried in the shadows between impulse and justification. We've already been justified through the cross of Christ. So this little human nature of feeling the need to have justification is all rooted in ego at this point. And every choice you've ever made, so every choice you've ever made has had a whisper behind it. Something primal, something selfish, sacred. Well, more scared than sacred, I guess. And it's been, fueled with the ego, as the ego has this insatiable craving, this need for validation. And we dress it up as logic. And that's that's the lie of human decision making. We think we reason ourselves into choices. But most of the time, we're just defending what we've already decided in secret. See, your subconscious decides before you consciously do. Your subconscious is 8 times faster than you. So when you consciously say, I want to go to the store, but you have this nudging feeling, not just yet, not right now. And you end up you don't even really talk yourself out of not going to the store. You just don't go to the store, because that decision was already made. As soon as you verbalized, I'm going to the store, and your feelings, no, not just yet. That's your subconscious saying no. It made the decision 8 times faster than you could verbalize it. That's how quick on the draw it is. So if you say something and there's always a counteracting feeling, that feeling is attached to your ego. So the conscious mind shows up like a lawyer, not a judge, arguing for the decision your emotions already made behind closed doors. People call it discernment. Well, if we're being honest, it's not discernment at all. Most of what we call discernment is ego wearing a prophet's robe. How about that? We sense something, we feel it, and instead of checking if it's rooted in truth or trauma, we just go along with it. We just let it happen. We just chase it, and because you know what? It feels good because it feels familiar, but it validates the narrative. Oh, I don't want to get up. And then you don't get up and you sleep in, and then you're chastising, I hate my job. I have to get up so early. I hate my job. No, you're upset that you slept in. So let's just peel this back to the bone, shall we? Because we got to expose what no one is going to say out loud, because we've been taught to be nice and tread carefully on people's feelings when it comes to dealing with the ego. That's exactly what the ego wants. The ego wants our pity and our empathy. Oh, I'm just, do you mind if I speak freely? I don't mean to hurt your feelings, and I'm not intending to hurt your feelings, but have you considered thinking this way? You know how we tap dance around in these seemingly kind, compassionate words, sentences that only pat our egos on the head? Yeah, that's not doing us any favors. It's time to get honest. So, truth number one, we don't normally choose what is right. We choose what protects our ego. We'd rather be comfortable than correct. We'd rather be seen as strong than actually healed. We'd rather keep the illusion of control than face how little we actually have. That's the quiet addiction no one talks about. The need to preserve the image of ourselves that we've built. Every argument, every defense, every I know what I'm doing moment, that's all armor. We really don't know what the hell we're doing. And the cruel irony is that armor weighs more than the pain we're trying to protect ourselves from. The ego hates humility because humility starves the ego. When you admit that you were wrong, when you admit that you don't know, when you admit that your motives weren't pure, the ego loses its oxygen. That's why growth feels like death, because part of you is dying. Just think about that for a moment. How many times in a day do we admit that we were wrong or that we don't know? Oh, sure, we cry and wail when we're neck deep in our ego and we're trying to, find a solution to the problem, and just other problems come along and we're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't. That we don't know. We're willing to admit that. But sitting here rationally, just looking at things objectively and saying, I don't know the answer to this. I don't have an answer to this. What does that cost you? To really look at that without panic, I don't have an answer. Can you be okay with that? You have to be okay. Because you came to this earth not knowing it all, not knowing anything. This big wide world is your puzzle platform where you have to put the pieces of the life called the puzzle. You have to put this together. And sometimes you'll get it wrong, and it's okay. This is how we learn. But the real shift comes from before we decide to act on our feelings. Ask yourself, would I still make this decision if nobody saw it? Oh, if that question hurts, well, that's your ego. You just met it face on. And that's the cue to do the opposite. And here's a hidden gem to all of this is that the moment you act without the need to be witnessed, your energy shifts from self-preservation to authenticity. That's what we're looking for in this world. We're not looking to be right, we're looking to be authentic. And we don't know that, but that's the secret sauce in life. Because when you're authentic, that's where true love, unconditional love, shines. When you make a mistake, you can laugh and say, you know what? At least it's authentic. And that's a way to spin it. And that's a way to, not take yourself so seriously. To be comfortable at being uncomfortable. So, excuse me. This is the point where creation meets karma and karma meets creation. When your motive aligns with truth rather than applause from nobody looking. It's when spiritual laws start bending in your favor because you've stopped lying to yourself. And you just accept. Yeah? All right. So what? I fell on my face. So what? I made a mistake. It's not like I'm ignoring it. I'm learning from it and I'm growing. So this mistake has turned into a positive. I know what not to do next time. So I don't need to beat myself up. But society tells us, yeah, we're not allowed to make mistakes. Who taught us that we had to live up to somebody else's standards? Who taught us that? Hi, Mr. Osgood. How you doing? Who taught us that we have to live up to somebody else's standards? Mommy and Daddy. Oh yeah, it goes, all our problems go back to them. Not that, okay, not that we hold everything against them, but our behaviors can be traced back to our youth. And we have to stop living the patterns of our youth like we're still being controlled by people. We have the decision to let that go. We can make our own choices now. We're free from the influence of people who didn't know any better, just like how we don't know any better. We're free to adopt a different way of life, a different way of thinking, a new set of rules through the one who does know the difference between right and wrong. That's Jesus. We do have the ability, we have the right and the free will choice to go through him. We don't have to do this through mom and dad anymore. So truth number 2, we crave chaos because stability feels boring when you're addicted to survival. That's true. Peace is boring. Peace is constant and consistent. It's quiet. It's ho-hum when, it's faced in the, and compared to survival. Survival is chaos. There's always something going. Do. I went for a walk today, and I was walking in front of a mom and their 5-year-old child. And they were probably about 5 feet behind me. And I was listening to the little boy. And he was just on fire for life, just talking a mile a minute, just talking. And the mother's trying to keep up. And she's like, yeah, okay, wow, that's great. Yeah. And she's like talking back to him. But I could tell in her voice, like, she's just like, oh, can we just slow your roll? Like, can we just quiet you down for a little bit? And I was thinking about his energy. And I'm just like, yeah, as adults, our energy changes. No longer are we excited about life. This little boy is excited to see his mom, excited to do something new, excited about what, going home from school, excited about school. And he's just talking and he's just sharing his joy. And she was receiving his joy, but not on his level. And I was just like thinking about that. I was just like, that's really interesting how us adults kind of shift from that, because we're not excited about school, our jobs. We're not excited about meeting the people and interacting with the people at our work. We're not excited about getting up in the morning and having a brand new day, fresh with no mistakes, as Anne of Green Gables would say. And, you know, we're not even excited about lunch anymore. We're not even excited about exercise. And kids are excited to go outside and play dodgeball and play gym and run around and play tag. And we don't do that. When was the last time adults played tag with each other? Maybe we should start. No, I'm serious. I love playing tag. I love being a mom, because being a mom with my younger kids gave me an excuse to do all that stuff I love to do. But now as an adult, I don't have anybody to do this with. I don't have anybody to play with. There's no tag. There's no red rover. There's no red light, green light, or mother may I. You know, those games, those backyard games we used to play when we were bored. We got a bunch of kids and our parents wouldn't let us in the house. So we were outside in the backyard. Our parents knew where we were, but we were bored as heck. And so we made up games and Mother May I. Kind of like Simon Says. You're all standing in a row and you're like, everybody takes a turn. May I take 5 steps? And there's a person who's like Simon, and you say, Mother, may I take 5 steps? And they say, you may. So you take your 5 steps. And whoever gets to the mother first wins, and they get to dole out. And sometimes you say, no, you may not. And we switch that around. Instead of Mother May I, it's red light, green light. So red light, you get to move and do and move forward. And as soon as, or someone says green light, you get to move and move forward. And, but as soon as you say red light, you got to freeze. You can't move. And the person who's delegating the red light, green light, they see you move, they're watching you subtly. Oh, hello. They're watching you very subtly, and if you just shake your head or you start talking and move your jaw, move your lips, they're like, you're out. Yeah, Simon Says. Duck, duck, goose. Exactly. Shoe fly, don't bother me. That's a great game to play too. Is it? I don't even know that game. That's awesome. So these games we played as, kids and as teens, and we don't play that anymore. We don't exercise and expand our creativity. No wonder we're at a different frequency than kids. That's something I noticed today. So thank you, Jesus, for that moment, because that's interesting. I love to play tag. Red Rover, yeah. Dodgeball, volleyball, badminton. Even building sandcastles, making mud pies, digging in the garden after the garden has been harvested, and you take your brother's Tonka trucks, or your friends come over and they come over with trucks and their dump trucks and stuff, and you start building roads and bridges and underpasses, overpasses, and you just, or even you take your bikes and you find some old pieces of wood and construction sites, and at the end of the cul-de-sac, you set up a little jump, 2-foot jump. We were so happy. We would catch air. We would build, stack 2x4s on top of each other this high with a little board as a ramp. So we would race our bikes as fast as we could, go up the ramp, and we'd lift our handlebars up to, catch air. we'd do the ollie, and we catch air and we'd just be so happy that we could do that. Did you see that? And we'd just be like that high off the ground, but it felt like we were flying. We don't do that stuff anymore. And I do that on my mountain bike. I go over a curve, I, jump the curb and, feel so impressed with myself. And, Scarlett's like, you're not going high off the ground, I'm like, that might be a fruit fly. That was weird. Scarlett's like, Mom, you're not going high off the ground. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It just takes me back. It takes me back feeling like a kid again. And racing my, pedals as fast as I can. I don't care if I look stupid. I'm feeling like a kid again. It is awesome. And to ride my bike without my, look, Ma, no hands. And I put my hands out and I'm like, whee! And it's just like, oh my gosh, the things we did as kids. And then there's my, sister who's 10 years older than me says, did you buy a helmet when you bought your bike? I'm like, nope. And she's like, I'm like, it's not a law. 18 years old and older, you don't have to wear a helmet. She goes, well, why aren't you? Because I don't have to. She's like, well, don't come crying to me. And then she's like, no, I'm going to stop myself right there. You're adult. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And it's like, I know myself. I trust myself. And when I was a teen, when we were young, we didn't have helmets. Yeah, helmets keep you safe. Yes, I get it. But it's a decision that you can either live in fear or not live in fear. And I choose not to live in fear. If I get hurt, it's on me. I've been hurt on my bike before and I've survived. It's okay. It's okay. I will be fine. And I'm not taking stupid risks. But that's the thing. Like, when we're adults, it's like we don't take those childlike risks because we stopped believing in ourselves that we can do it. So, you want to learn how to play pickleball. Awesome. Singles meeting and meet some single people. That's an idea. You could, if they don't have anything like that, you could probably put an ad in the paper and, singles only from, and let's get together and play pickleball and meet your local neighborhood and let's get together and have some fun and have some coffee or tea afterwards and let's make some friends. Let's do this. Yeah, that'd be fun. So we crave chaos because stability feels boring when you're addicted to survival. And yeah, we like safe. We like safe. But when it comes to emotions, that's where we don't play safe. We have this thing called life backwards. See, when we've lived in emotional warfare, as kids, we're battling our parents. No, you can't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Act this way. Don't act that way. You're acting silly when we're just being ourselves. So we're taught not to be ourselves. And when we want to be ourselves, our ego is parroting our parents or whoever was in positions of power. Our ego is parroting what we've always heard to keep us from being ourselves and being free and being happy. It's dangerous to be ourselves. Because when you fall down, what does your parents say? I told you to wear your bike helmet. I told you to wear your knee pads. I told you you fall down. Yeah, but sometimes we got to scrape ourselves in order to get hurt and learn, right? Hi, Roman. How you doing? Nice to see you. Singles events are narctard magnets. True. That can be true. But you know what? If you want to meet people, you got to take the risk. You got to take the risk of meeting a narctard because you will. But this is where you would just put your skills into practice. You get out there and you protect yourself. You get out there and you trust your instincts, you protect yourself, and you go with God. And, you know, maybe that every person that you meet is a narctard. Okay. So I know that God says the love of most will grow cold. Now I know for myself. Now I figured it out. Okay. But I put my skills to the test. All the stuff that we've been learning on Positively Spiritual and on the other, video platforms. I've learned a lot. I'm learning to put it into practice and I'm learning to trust myself. So this is a win. It's a win. See, when we've lived in emotional warfare, the dysfunction, the rejection, the betrayal, your body learns to equate chaos as normal. So when peace shows up, it's not normal, it's not familiar. And what is unfamiliar is unsafe territory. So our nervous system mistakes calm for threat because calm doesn't spike adrenaline. And you can't detox from trauma without confronting that addiction. There were many narc men and women at the meetups I've gone to, and I've detected and avoided immediately. My spidey narc senses are so keen now. Exactly. And I find it hard to meet people. I just rather not, people on this platform here on this channel, oh yeah, you guys, I want to meet you guys, but people outside of this channel, like I just, because we know each other, right? We're getting to know each other, but having to just sit there and listen to somebody's ego, I just rather not. I don't have time for my ego anymore. I don't have time to placate and sit there and cater to somebody else's ego. There's better things to do in this world. There's better things to do, like serve God and just enjoy life with that childlike demeanor and just be free again. I'm tired of listening to somebody. Put your seatbelt on. Make sure your door is locked when you drive your car. Make sure you kick those tires and you check your tires. You check your bike tires. You check your tires. You do this. You do that. And make sure you've got lunch in your hand. Make sure you got lunch money. Make sure you got this. It's like, holy smokes! All these rules. Can we just go and have fun? Make sure you keep your hands in the car window. If you're driving with your car window down, make sure you keep your hands in the cab. Don't take your hand out of the car and feel the wind on your. You know how you do this? And some people are like, don't do that, don't do that. The car's gonna come drive by and it's gonna take off your hand. Like, some people are just so negative. And it's just difficult. It's difficult being around people. who find problems with everything, like everything. So is this why we go back to toxic people? Why, you know, we think, okay, speaking of toxic relationships, when we've come to a resolution with the narcissist and we think everything's fine, and then it's like clockwork, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour later, boom, there's conflict again. And usually it's about the same thing that we thought was already resolved. Even days later, we've got this peace and we think everything's good. And then all of a sudden it's like the doo-doo hits the fan and we're like, where did this come from? You forgave me. We had this resolved. Well, no, it's not over. It's not resolved. And we're just like, is this why people keep revisiting arguments? And is it because we have our ego needs to chase the intensity and we call it passion? Is this the reason why? Because we are so addicted to conflict and crazy making and problems? Like, I want to go back to this childlike demeanor, like where there's no problems. This child that I was listening to today, just like he's just talking and he's talking about a dinosaur backpack and a dinosaur. He wants to be dinosaur for Halloween. And, he's like telling his mom what the costume's going to look like. And he's just like, in his mind, he's got it all figured out already. It's like, good for him, cool. And his mom's like, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that, but we'll try. So children don't make a problem when there isn't a problem. But adults, we dwell on problems. And what you dwell on, you repeat. Yeah, narcs do that. They trap you into that loop. Yeah. I like the story of the three brothers and the singing toad. The two brothers didn't want to listen to the little toad, but the third brother chose to listen to the toad. Okay. I'm going to have to look that up. Thank you, Robert. I don't think I've heard of that story. So here's the thing. Peace will always feel wrong at first. Not because it is wrong. It's just because your body's addicted to the noise, the chaos. Healing isn't about chasing serenity. It's about re-educating your body to recognize it. So here's the shift. When calm does start feeling wrong, just sit in it. Let it itch. Let it irritate. When when you're talking and you've got that itch, maybe at the end of your nose, or you're going to sleep and you've got that itch on your knee, or you've got that twitch on your thigh, that little poke, I don't know, a poke on your thigh, and all of a sudden your leg just jolts, and it jolts you out of your sleep. Yeah, that's how uncomfortable we feel sometimes in the peace. Feels like we've got to move. We got to scratch that invisible itch. We have to do something. But what if we don't? What if we just sit in there in that and just let that irritation dissipate on its own? Have you ever tried to do that? When you're trying to go to sleep and you've got like an itchy ear or, you know, an itch in the middle of your back and you're just like, I'm too comfortable to move. I'm just going to stay here. And you're trying to go to sleep, but your mind is focused on the itch in the back of your, like right in the middle of your back. So you have to get and reach around and you have to try to reach. You're like, I'm just too tired. I don't want to do. I don't want to. And it's nagging at you and it's nagging at you. And either you just fall asleep or you finally just get so annoyed and you're like, and then it's like, I'm freaking awake now. That's me. And I get so annoyed because it's like, I'm wide awake. Now I have to do this ritual all over again. It's going to take me an hour to get back to sleep. And then you start watching the clock and then that makes it worse. Yeah. We respond out of a trigger. We're triggered. We're put emotion behind that itch, right? Oh, you know, Fred Flintstone, frickin', you know, he's like, fricka this, fricka that, fricka this, fricka Z, you know, fricka fracka, or whatever he says. But that's exactly what happens when we have to linger in this calm state. It's too calm, it's too peaceful, something's up, and our nervous system is scanning our environment. Where's the danger? Because it's looking for it, it's going to find it, and it comes to us. So the trick is to stop looking for danger where there isn't any. Stop looking for danger. Allow yourself to just be happy in the moment. Stop reacting and just respond. You stop trying to survive and you start choosing. Because you know, when you have that itch in the middle of your back, you can actually deal with it without scratching it. You can tell your spirit to deal with it. You can just, no, like how you deal with it is to act as if it's not there. Tune it out. Think about something else. Think about something that's more important than that itch in the small of your back, and you'll soon fall asleep. So truth number 3, we mistake distraction for direction. Oh, there we go. We're distracted with the itch in the middle of our back. And, oh, I can't get to it. And we're distracted. And then we, instead of allowing ourselves to go back to bed, we direct ourselves to get up because we're all agitated and I'm up now. I might as well freaking do something because I'm awake now. I'm going to lose an hour of my sleep time. And we do this when we glorify our busyness. Because some people can't stand the quiet. Some people can't stand being alone with their own thoughts. So they need to doom scroll. They need to scroll. Oh, X isn't producing anything of value right now. Neither is Facebook. So I'm going to go check Instagram. Maybe there's something on YouTube. We start scrolling, we start planning, we start scheduling, we start talking. And it all feels like movement. But guess what? It's treadmill energy. Running in the spot. going nowhere. Our problem is we train our bodies to be sick and stay sick with our tongues. Absolutely. Well said. So we're running fast, going nowhere. And people love to say they're manifesting. But you can't manifest from avoidance. You can't name it and claim it if you're avoiding the real issues. You can't sweep things under the rug and pretend everything is fine while your soul is saying, no, deal with this first. God says, seek ye the kingdom of God, and then everything will be added to you. You got to seek, you go inside here to clear out the mess, like Jesus said. You know, the parable of the yeast, where Jesus said, be careful of the yeast of the Pharisees. In biblical times, what they did to prepare for Passover is they took out all their furniture of their house and swept their houses clean, got into the little corners of the rooms and swept everything. Not just the counters and the cupboards, but the floor. They shook out the carpets. They washed their blankets. They took out all their furniture, wiped it off outside so that they're not, because yeast is so tiny. It can get in the cuff of your clothes or, get in your hair, like it just gets in everything. If you spill it, oh yeah, it's rolls away and you miss spots. So this is why they cleaned out, and this is why Jesus said, when an evil spirit leaves and it comes back and it finds your house swept clean but unoccupied, it will come back. It will go find 7 demons more stronger than it, or 7 spirits stronger than it. And when it comes back to dwell in your place, it will be harder to get rid of it as it was the first time, because it's not alone. That's the ego. We're not just dealing with one feeling here. We're dealing with all aspects of fear. Every negative is from fear, but fear branches off and it fractures and breaks off into jealousy, revenge, resentment, feelings of abandonment, feelings of unworthiness, low self-esteem, feelings that, inadequacy, all these negative feelings, sadness, grief, terror, you name it. It all can be traced back to fear, but the ego fractures itself and separates and isolates each individual feeling that is from fear to make it more complicated, so you'll be less likely to solve the problem. So you can't find the path while being afraid to be alone with your thoughts. Because ultimately being alone with your thoughts and having nobody around to validate you, that is to understand who God is and was and forever will be, especially before he created the foundation of the earth. Before humankind was created, before he created the angels, before he created heaven, before he created earth, God was, and it was just him and the Godhead. It was just him, one with his thoughts. We weren't around to give him notice. We were still a thought in his mind and heart. We weren't manifested yet. So we're here to give God acknowledgement so that he can be who he needs to be. Just sit and think with that. Think about that for a minute, because we're scared to be in our own thoughts. We're scared to think. We're scared to be alone. Well, when we can accept being alone, when we can accept being quiet, when we can accept being one with our thoughts and just thinking and not having anybody around us, and we know that, hey, I'm okay. There's nobody around here. If I was the only person on this planet, would I be okay? Yeah, I would. Because you're alone right now, whether you're in a house with other people, you're in your own room right now, or you're in the privacy of your space right now. Right now, it's as if you are the only person in the world. If we weren't talking together right now, just, you're kind of that way when you go to sleep. When you put your head on the pillow and you close your eyes, you're shutting the world out and it's just you. You're shutting yourself off and you're getting in touch with your spirit in your dreams. And in your dreams, it's a whole nother world. Many people don't dream about the people that they interact with during the day. I never did. When I dreamt about my kids or my spouse or people of my past, it was training ground as God was teaching me and talking to me about the egoic nature and the things that I'm hanging on to. But usually when I dream, it's symbolic, and I'm in there and I'm having my own experience outside of people. There's nothing there. Wow. Interesting. I feel my whole house is full of angels taking care of me. Amen to that. And that's a good outlook. Because God says that our enemies will be members of our own household. So it's important to understand that, we all do stand alone. And we got to be okay with that. It's not a bad thing. We're relating to how God was before he set out to create. Oh, wow, there's lots of... So you're not waiting on clarity. Clarity is waiting on you to stop running. Stop running from yourself. Stop running away. Face those feelings. They're only feelings. They can't hurt you unless you allow them to. Stop asking, what should I do next? And start asking, what am I avoiding by staying busy? And then go do that. Because that one avoided thing, that conversation, that boundary, that truth is where your entire future is hiding. No, you're not avoiding work. You're avoiding exposure. The part of you that knows once that you step into your full power, you can't play small anymore. And going big or going home, that might isolate you. It might get you people who are envious. It might get you enemies. But that's a risk worth taking. So instead of feeling that, and instead of exposing yourself to a possibility of you might lose friends, you might lose family, you might have the success, but it's lonely at the top, they say, right? So what does the ego do? The ego makes you look productive. You study, you plan, you organize, but you don't take any steps further. Deep down, you know you're just rearranging your comfort. And you're convincing yourself it's growth. That's why so many people stay stuck while looking busy. And here's the paradox that nobody talks about. We don't actually fear failure. We fear responsibility. We talked about this afternoon. Failure gives us a story. Responsibility demands transformation. Failure lets us say, it didn't work. Responsibility says, it didn't work because I didn't. I didn't know what to do, but it's my responsibility to find out what to do and gain the skills. When you start making decisions from self-awareness rather than ego preservation, life stops being a guessing game. It starts being a mirror, and it will show you exactly who you are. The reason why most people don't reach this level of truth isn't because they lack intelligence. It's because they lack courage. It's hard to do things on our own, especially when we haven't been there before and we don't know what to do. It's trial and error. By the seat of our pants, we're flying, and sometimes we're going to fail, but that's okay. So here's another hidden gem. Your indecision is still a decision. Every time you delay a choice out of fear, you're choosing comfort over growth. Every I don't know really means I do know, but I don't want to face what knowing demands of me. I'm not ready to face that, because when you face that, you got to change. So the next time you catch yourself overthinking, remind yourself, clarity comes after movement, not before it. You won't think your way into purpose. You'll walk into it. You won't analyze your way into faith. You'll just act in it. And that's the untold truth about divine timing. It's never waiting on God. It's waiting on your courage to tap into the courage that is already within you, because you can do all things in Christ Jesus, who is your strength. Jesus is your courage. And when you finally stop lying to yourself, when you stop dressing fear in the language of logic, you'll see it. Oh yeah, you will. You'll see it. The path, you'll notice that it was never hidden. You just refused to walk it out without recognition, without applause, without chaos, without distraction. So maybe decision making isn't about finding the truth after all. It's about finally admitting the lies that we've built our lives around, because that's easier. Because we fear the unknown. We don't fear what's familiar. And it's easier to suffer in familiarity than to suffer in the unknown. Because the unknown is going to call you into account. You're going to have to show what you're made out of. And when you're in the familiar, at least you know what's already going to happen, so you can cater to that if you want. Yeah, I don't feel like working today, so I'm just going to go lay in bed and eat Cheetos all day long and be depressed and sleep. And yeah, I don't want to work today. But in the unknown, you have to. You have to work even when you don't want to. See, there's lazy and familiar. And the ego gives us permission to, you need a break. You're burned out. Take a load off. You've been working so hard already. You don't need to work anymore. And see, when you're challenged in the unfamiliar, what happens is there's growth. And you cannot return to the status quo. You can't return once you start working out in that, that unfamiliar pattern, and you start, working out your courage, and you start seeing your strength, and you start working it out. Well, there's no going back. You leave the old life behind. You leave the old you behind. And that's what we fear. We fear the unfamiliar patterning, the unfamiliar growth of, because we don't know what it looks like to be somebody other than who we're not being right now. That we don't know. We don't know. Because most of us who fear growth do not look ahead to the future and see ourselves as growth, as grown already. Like, for example, if you wanted to, you've always dreamt of owning a motorcycle, and you're thinking, oh, I'm too old now, I don't have the money. So that's no longer a part of your future, but it still can be. If you allow yourself to think about yourself riding a motorbike, the kind, maybe you like the Harley, maybe you like the Kawasaki, you know, maybe there's a certain model of bike that you've always liked, and you've wanted to buy one. And you stopped envisioning that for yourself because I've got bills, I've got this, I've got that. You can still save. You can still make it happen. It can still become a part of your dream, but you lost that childlike nature, that childlike quality to see yourself in the future, but not as in the future. You take the future you and bring it to the here and now. That's what a child does. They say, look, Mom, I'm Superman. They take their thoughts of what they look like in the future, wearing that cape, jumping off tall buildings, and they bring that into the here and now. And we lost that ability. So it's easier to stay stuck than to have our dreams thwarted. Oh yeah, I thought about me having a motorbike, but plans didn't work out, so I'd just rather stay small. No, you want that bike, you can get it. There's just another way. That, we give up too easy. The ego says, oh, you tried it once, that's okay. You tried it and it didn't work out. Go-getters, they exhaust every avenue of choice. Okay, so it didn't work out here. What can I do? What can I do differently? What do I need to do? Maybe I need to get a side job. Maybe maybe I could go mow lawns. Maybe I could do side yard work on the side. I love gardening. Maybe I could do that. Maybe my wife or my husband would like to do this with me because we love to garden together. Maybe we could do this together. So I'm not sacrificing family time so much. There's a way around this. I just haven't thought about it. But see, the ego says, oh, you tried that, been there, done that once. We don't need to go through that failure again. Let's save ourselves the trouble of constantly falling down on our faces. You fell down once is enough. You don't need to constantly fall down on your face and try 50 ways and fall down 50 different ways before you finally realize that this is a deadbeat dream. So just quit while you're ahead. And so we stop thinking about ourselves in the future, and that's what we fear. We fear the change. We fear that if we do succeed, if we do try, there's no going back to this comfortable lifestyle that we've made for ourselves. It's going to be different. Your ego doesn't like change, but that's the only way you're going to grow. So then the question is, what if every right choice you ever made was just fear wearing a crown? Meaning that the choice that you made has been a fearful choice. And those fearful choices have kept you steady, kept you compliant to a life that seems easy, but it's hard to live in this trapped status quo of mundane and a lack of growth and stagnancy. To live is to actually challenge yourself and think of possibilities for you. That's where the growth is. That's where the excitement is. But you got to stop listening to the ego. Because the ego doesn't want you to grow. The ego doesn't want you to rely on God. Most narcissists have great fear of you once you know, you know. Yeah. Either you stay boxed in or you break out of the box with your ego thinking. Yeah. I like that. So that's just some interesting insight about the ego and our human behavior. So if it resonates for you, let me know. Let me know what you think about this video. And if you want to talk, I'm here for you. We can talk, set up an appointment, and we'll talk for about an hour or so. If you guys like this channel, please subscribe. If you haven't done so already, hit the notification bell, as we are here twice a day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. And we are here meeting logic with rationality, with spirituality, scientific insight, and yes, psychology, but we understand that Jesus first. And we're understanding how our ego keeps us from living in freedom, in divine nature. As God says, first seek ye the kingdom of God, and then everything else will be added to you. The ego is trying to get us to seek the physical things first and ignore the spiritual, to keep us beholden to this earth. This earth is not our home. So if you like what we stand for here on this channel, and you want to see this channel grow, and you want to see this channel stay here forever and ever and ever, please consider donating to our PayPal link, as PayPal allows us to receive the money right away, which goes towards providing, rent money and food and covering our bills. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate your help. Thank you. And with your continued support, we will continue to support you by staying here twice a day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Time. And also we have lives, we have videos, short videos, we have podcasts, we have ebooks for you too here on this channel. So we've got you covered, and we do Bible studies too. There's Bible study content every Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We do a live, and also there's Bible study material for you at my Ko-Fi channel. If you guys want Bible study material, just email me, shannongilmore@protonmail.com, and let me know what you're looking for, and I'll see if we've got something for you. So with that said, we are going to read. We are going to read John chapter 14. Jesus comforts his disciples. So you guys ready? Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I'm going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we don't know where you're going, so how can we know the way? Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. Philip said, Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. Jesus answered, Don't you know me, Philip? Even after I have been among you such a long time, anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Don't you believe that I am in the Father and that the Father is in me? The words I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority. Rather, it is the Father living in me who is doing his work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or at least believe on the evidence of the works themselves. Very truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father, and I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. If you love me, keep my commands, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever. To be with you forever. The Spirit of truth. We have had that through the Great Awakening, right? That was our revival. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Before long, the world will see me, or the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me because I live. You also will live. On that day, you will realize that I am in the Father, in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them. Then Judas, not Judas Iscariot, said, But Lord, why do you intend to show yourself to us and not to the world? Jesus replied, Anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. My Father will love them, and we will come to them and make our home with them. Anyone who does not love me will not obey my teaching. These words you hear are not of my own. They belong to the Father who sent me. All this I have spoken while still with you, but the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. You heard me say, I am going away and I am coming back to you. If you loved me, you would be glad that I am going to the Father, for the Father is greater than I. I have told you now before it happens, so that when it does happen, you will believe. I will not say much more to you, for the prince of this world is coming. He has no hold over me, but he comes so that the world may learn that I love the Father and do exactly what my Father has commanded me. So come now, let us leave. And we'll read chapter 15 tomorrow evening. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. Isaiah chapter 44 verse 3 says, Robert, for I will pour out water upon the thirsty land and streams upon the dry ground, for I will pour out my spirit upon your offspring and my blessings upon your descendants. Amen. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure, and I hope this video has helped you understand just a little bit of your behavioral nuances that you may not be able to see, and maybe you're still asking, why am I this way? Just check your ego. Your ego is rooted in fear. And every negative feeling that you're feeling, every negative thought, it's rooted in fear. And you may have a label on it. This is anxiety, this is depression, this is feelings of regret and shame and doubt and abandonment and torment, resentment, anger, shame, guilt, whatever it is, it's all rooted back in fear. God does not give us a spirit of fear, but one of sound mind and love and truth. So think the opposite, feel the opposite. There's your antidote. You're feeling sad, feel the opposite. You're thinking anger, think good thoughts. There you go. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night, and God bless you all. Sweet dreams.